Huh? Who's that? Stay quiet. It's just me, Kadok. I want you to keep your voice down. I got something to talk about outside. Good. This should be fine now. Mash, are you prepared for this? Um, yes. Just like you have said, I believe Miss Da Vinci currently is is on maintenance, and the new director has taken out the seat and has gone to bed. I believe the night shift staff has also have taken a light sleep, and currently in Cutterdale, I am the only person that's working. And why did you want to create this situation, Mr. Caddock? It's just in case, okay? After I've awoken, I've confirmed all the other records of the Lost Belts, the memories. I've seen it all. And with that said, I want to talk about the person that aligns with Cardea. I know that's not Doctor. I know. I don't know why he would call himself the man of Cardea, but we can only leave that aside because we have no answer. But remember, didn't he specifically state the word? In the group that we are currently on or have, there are a person that we should not trust. Remember that line? Simultaneously, after that, Archer said or mentioned something irregular just in case, too. Yeah, I do. Just keep this a secret, okay? Yeah, you constantly said keep it a secret. You've been warned multiple times to not say anything. The fact that it's being reported in the memories or the record is that, hmm, I guess, I guess it's you guys after all. That's so like you. Mash, you still remember that memory fresh, right? Who thought of this idea? Who said we should hide it? Have you thought when the man in the cloak said that? Who was the person that came out first? Um, it's exactly as the report have stated. Yes, I I have few theories and thoughts in my head. However, it's way too illogical and not realistic at all. Hmm. That's so not like you, Mash. Aren't you a mystery mania, aka an otaku when it comes to mystery? So you've instantly stopped thinking. Didn't think deep after those comments, did you? Um, no. It's actually the opposite. I I think I did my very best. My biggest possibilities and thought everything I could is what I would like to think. But um even so that those words were had a very impossible meaning. Mm. But I want to know how you thought about that situation. Please, if you can, tell me. Yes, someone that cannot be trusted. I believe those words, I think, points out to the staff of Cutterdans. I believe some of the one of yeah, one or few of the staff might be the traitor at hand. However, I do not know the motive, or I don't have any proof that I can show to back up my evidence. Because whenever you try to solve a mystery, a why done it, or aka the reason of why, has to be approved and solved in order to show the true evidence. Mm. It sounds, yep, just like from someone who would say those terms before. Oh, I like he's quoting, I think he's quoting Waver here. 魔術師はほとんどあらゆる超限化を可能にするため、どうやったにかは意味がない。It says, as a mage, there are creatures of creating phenomenons out of nothing. So therefore, how done it is quite useless, meaningless. Whenever you're trying to solve a case against the mage. However, if you can figure out the why done it, there's always a reasoning for their methods and their methods and their acts. Yes. Then if that's the case, then it would remove all the Cloudian staff that currently resides in this ship. Because the Earth has already been bleachified. And there is no necessity to help out that in any case by siding against us, siding with us. It says if we were to look at it more happy or more positive direction, I believe that we've already tripped and fell from a very long time, I believe. And because of that, there's no reason for the staff to there's no reason for the staff to witness the bleachification and trying their very best to prevent the bleachification from happening for the later future. You're right, Mash. Because the crime has already been committed and the after effect is being shown. And if that's the case, there's no reason to them to stay in the organization to help out whatsoever. And when it comes to servants, that will be excluded as well. For instance, like I, Mr. Captain, and Miss Da Vinci. And even Mr. Holmes. It seems that apparently Mr. Holmes said if the Earth gets bleachified, that situation is problematic for him. But then that will leave with Miss Shion, Mr. Kadok, and Senpai. Master. And like you've said, Mr. Kadok, when we had those two conversations, you were not part of us in any case. And so therefore there's an alibi standing within. And I believe Senpai is out of the question. Because if Senpai were to throw everything away, and if Senpai would just give up, the story would conclude so simply as if everything just ended and this incident would end. Yep, that's pretty true. Perhaps Miss Shion as a Atlas Institute maybe have a different thought process, and because she has a different thought process and thinking, maybe that's a possibility of a motive of betrayal. Perhaps, maybe, it's only a possibility. However, there is one move that proved to us that she is definitely not the traitor. It's the circumstances when the black hole occurred the fake black hole occurred due to the foreigner god's incidents and eradicated the Boldandering Sea. Miss Shion, she was ready to fight to the very death, to the very edge, and to the very edge before she pulled the trigger on that. If she wanted to betray us, I believe this would have been the best timing that she could run away, if not escape on her own. In a hyperplot convenience, and if you were only looking for results and the ending, she would definitely had the chance to just run away all by herself, and we would most likely just died without even knowing, without her warning. And if that's the case, it'll end up just being binded by me, isn't it then? Perhaps that man in the hood probably thought that I would return to Karadea. And probably, 例の二人が予測していた。So yeah, probably predicted that I would return to Karadea at one point in time. I believe so, if that's the case. However, if you're the culprit, Mr. Kaddock, the fact that we're having this conversation itself contradicts that motive. Correct. I know it doesn't sound convincing, but I'm not here to betray, nor I'm going to be betraying. Well, in technicality, I did betray proper human history, so I guess my word have no weight, but just understand this. I have a collar on currently, and I would die any time. And then instantly death approaches. In a situation like that, I don't think I would be able to betray. My heart or more my cowardness won't allow that. I don't believe, Mr. Kadoff, that you're a coward, but I believe to think like that is the correct motion. Because if you were to betray, you'll get killed. And if you don't want to get killed, you will have to betray. It's it's a very contradictory motion that you're suggesting. Besides that, it is including me and the staff and the servants all together. Whenever it comes to motives, they all fit the same criteria. Well, except me. I might be a bit complicated, but understand that I was once against proper human history and I lost. I got hurt pretty badly and got revived, and with that, it says, yeah, I've been able to acknowledge and assist you with limitations added, a very long observation and most likely imprisonment, or in order for me to avoid death in general, I have agreed to aid and be on your side. Besides the act of good and evil, my thought process and my reasoning still goes through, correct? Um, yes. And so the person in the hood, the person who proclaim himself as Karudeya, what this person has said is, but if you're asking this, Kadok, you have something in mind, don't you? Senpai. Mm. It's not have in mind. It's more like I have one questions to ask you. If MASH can go through the library's detail and search it right off the bat without any hesitation and give me a clear answer, this would be just my idiocy. And it all just means that I was just being scaredy cat, the worrisome rat that you all know, and it would just be a talk of laughs. However, if there's no record of it, this will be the right contradictory and an evidence of being suspicious. The library search system. Yes, I've activated just like you asked, just in case. I'm ready whenever you are, Mr. Kaddock. What are we searching? I need you to find out a servant. Servants. First, Da Vinci. I understand that Da Vinci that was summoned in the Carudea originally was summoned by Carudea, therefore, and its replacement or its inheritance was carried over during the situation, correct? Meaning that in the very end, in conclusion, she was summoned by the owner of the Carudea, and she was the helper, if not a collaborator, way before the proper human history would, even before the incineration of humanity occurred. I heard that Nemo was specifically summoned by Shion Erutunum, correct? That was the record stated, saying. Apparently, there's a mix between a phantom spirit and a divine spirit jumbled up. However, Nemo's summoning is still justified, and no. And of course, I don't have to worry about MASH. There's a contract with Protag specifically front and center on your hand. So I have no problems there. Mr. Kaddock, you're suggesting... Yeah. I'm suggesting Sherlock Holmes. Search him. When did he... Where did he... Who did that person get summoned by? My man asking the fucking right question, baby. Alright, Kaddock's a big boy. He's asking the right fucking question. Where, when, who was he summoned by? Correct. Nobody fucking questioned that. Except me! Me! I questioned that. This is, what do you mean? It's simple. A servant needs a master. When a master is a necessity, they need it if just not just a chain on their leash, but a simple mana tank. Not just a simple thing as a mana reservoir. They would contract and they would be the anchor of its existence. Master is very important, plays a role of such to anchor down their existence in the plane of the current realm. In basics, heroes. "基本英雄との戦いに割り合って入ることもできないマスターが必要なのは何よりそのためだ." It says in basics of the basics, in order to fight against heroes and in order to fight into that, a master's existence is a must and a necessity. That is one of the few reasons why it would need a master to do so. This is compared to that. If it were to be backed up by some magic books or techniques, it's resource and field will be very low. But sometimes we get a rogue servant and you're right on that. I've heard that in each special singularities, there were Karudeas and other factions, and there were servants that would pop up out of nowhere that sides with no side. But that is because it was using the strength of the special singularities Holy Grail, using its strength. And the land trying to revert, try to go back to its original history by struggling, summoned a servant in order to help this problem out. Meaning that the earth, the land, was the anchor. It was the replacement of the master. And so therefore it was able to move about without the existence of master for a temporal time. And at the same time, too, this explains why the Tree of Emptiness, aka in Lost Belts, there were servants, rogue ones, that did not rely on the Holy Grail. Just like Beowulf in Russia, he was there because of the land. But how about Mr. Holmes? I believe we met him at the Atlas Institute and... Wait, but didn't he say... Huh? He said, even though we met at the Atlas Institute, I think he was also, yeah, he was also there at the London Cathedral. Yeah, the London Magical Association Tower area. Um, you are quite correct. I'm so sorry. I'm a bit, um, I'm a bit confused or a little perturbed in this current situation. Yes, I believe they did mention him there as well. The fact that he would yeah, the fact that he would say that he would leave his own message in London was himself all along. So this goes back to London, which is really nice. So yeah, essentially this is an Atlas. Currently in Atlas, it says I believe in London. There should be a information in the mage associations that I left behind. Have you retrieved it safely? It says it's only mere data file. It's only a mere data file reconstruction or sorting through. However, it was a very difficult job, almost impossible during that moment. Hmm. However, he was summoned in London. You can use you can use that same terminology that the land, the fate of the land has connected him to arrive in that location. But after this, he would arrive in Camelot, and from Shinjuku, I heard he did as well. What is that reasoning? Is because, um, to quote Mr. Holmes, he specifically said he forced his way through. He stretched and bended the reality and forcefully ray shifted. Like Minamoto Musashi like? Um, no. I believe she was. It wasn't like Miss Musashi. He specifically said two was max. Yeah, two was max if he was willing to debuff himself. And on the second one, he will neither be able to fight and move, is what I believe I've heard. I see. That would explain Shinjuku. After all, I've heard he didn't fight much. Um, However, from Shinjuku onwards, Senpai, master and a servant, has officially created a contract, and with that, it seems that the de debuff has been deactivated, but race shifting all on its own has been impossible. Is what I've been told, but I see. No, logic still goes through of how he said it. The logic pulls through, however, it trips on something. Damn, that's unfortunate. Sadly, I can't gather enough information to just ask a certain question. But I can state this. I believe Mr. Holmes to be the traitor is completely out of the question. Because the efforts, the efforts, the motives, everything he has done so far, with all that added to it, he, um, there will not be white done it, or there is no evidence to prove why done it of him being a traitor. Because I believe Mr. Holmes. Protag, what about you? I I don't know. Sus. It doesn't matter to me. All I needed was more information and resource, and an opinion from both of you. So I wanted to make sure that I had the right I had the right hypothesis. Is what I like to say, but Protag, mash. I hope you two can forget, or this is a very tall task to call it a favor, but I want you to forget the conversation we just had now. After all, we're fighting against Holmes here. And if you really do believe in him, I don't want you to have a bad aftertaste and him being suspicious about it. And if you do doubt him, you'll probably get hinted by Holmes. Um, I believe that'll be very difficult now, but maybe we can, use this. Hit the noggin on hit the fist in the noggin and well, why does it become like that? Anyway, I've got special magic, a technique, a basic one that can seal memories, but it is a requirement of consent, of course. Um, how would I deal with this situation? Just go to the store. Go to the Catadeas library of the storm border that's being kept safe. The number should be AG134458. There's an alpine scroll with a sheep-like features on it. It is a scroll specific basic for memory seal. I've hidden the location of I've hidden the location of the memory seal scroll there. I want you to go there at that specific time and the date. I want you to write the date and the time you would use it and activate it for me. Understood. I will do my best. Protag. Mesh. This is only a mere seal. It's not like you've completely forget about it, alright? This will probably weigh down in the deep conscience of the mind. If you truly believe in Holmes, then keep an eye out so you can truly believe in him, okay? Got it? I understood. Well, I'll see you tomorrow.